Hello. Well, welcome to this update. So let's see what's happening. We have now this light risk for severe weather. Parts of North Central Texas are a tornado watch there, and some discussions. So let's see what's happening about this. There's like the marginal around it and the slight branching to southern Oklahoma too. Tornado threat 5% North Texas, southern Oklahoma, and central Texas, and 2% too. Wind threat 15 5%, and hail 5%. So be aware, severe thunderstorm threat exists from North Texas to Hill Country, parts of central East Texas this afternoon and evening. Most focused tornado damaging wind and hail potential is expected to be across North Texas. So be aware in those areas. The the HUR here shows that big system spinning there, the snow in New Mexico, and again it shows those storms firing in Texas there, especially this evening, northeastern Texas. As you can see here, like if I put just Texas, shows just east of Waco and near like that with that front near southern Oklahoma, Dallas, the more severe storms, especially those isolated more severe storms just north of Waco, and they fired this evening. It shows more there. The front continues throughout tonight into Saturday morning, and shows more showers and storms in Louisiana and Mississippi tomorrow, Saturday, into Sunday. Maybe a little bit of moisture from Rafael into southern Louisiana on Sunday. But be aware of those storms there, especially northernmost North Texas and southernmost Oklahoma. So be careful. The Cape is also showing like uh, later it diminishes at night, but does show like this evening more in eastern Texas, north and eastern Texas, more Cape, is showing that sharper boundary there. But there's a tiny hint into Oklahoma, but mainly north, central, northeastern Texas, and the max wind gust doesn't have anything that extreme. Has more in Oklahoma, some higher gusts maybe, but those that like the winds by itself from the low pressure does have a spot or two in North Texas. Those storms there close to like uh, 50, 60 mile per hour gusts, but nothing that crazy. Even kilometers per hour, it just show like 70, 60 kilometers per hour gusts. But yeah, be aware because if some more intense thunderstorm forms, you might have stronger winds inside it. So be careful for there. Uh, the dew points are higher in southern and eastern Texas and very low in the west there. And yeah, I handle that front of the boundary with the higher dew points. You can see the front crossing there. So be aware. We have some blizzard warnings northeastern New Mexico since yesterday night, I think. So I hope you're being careful there with the snow. Winter storm warnings northern New Mexico, Colorado, winter weather advisories all the way into Wyoming, Nebraska, northern Texas, Oklahoma Panhandle, some winter storm warnings. And be careful those blizzard warnings. Show some freeze watches West Texas and New Mexico. Red flag warnings the northeast. Be aware. No, don't burn anything. And shows more northern Maine. There are some wind advisories and some coastal flood advisories in the Gulf there. So be aware. Some flood warnings and advisories carried there, and heavy freezing spray northern Alaska. So if you click here, let's see what they have. So they do have those areas of extreme storm severity index still, mainly for snowfall amounts in some areas, going to Oklahoma and alright, like southeastern Colorado, southwestern Kansas, some more impacts there, but still more in New Mexico. Snowfall forecast still shows some snow there, but like 6 to 20 inches still, nothing that crazy. Be careful if you're driving or traveling, especially in those roads there, as they mentioned here. You can check this link in the description for more information. And they do have the cold temperatures there, wind chills, especially the wind chills. So some 20s, 8, 7 Fahrenheit, very cold wind chills, and yeah, in the radar there. So be careful in those areas. Here on this Starbase Center, they do have that elevated fire threat part of the northeast and mid-Atlantic. So be aware for today there, part tomorrow, still a small elevated near Massachusetts and Connecticut in those areas. So be aware there. The storm, no more severe expected, but still some storms in the south tomorrow, Saturday, and some on Sunday still. So yeah, be aware. The snowfall in the next 24 hours, they still have more there, close to 60 inches in Colorado, even 20, and more in northern New Mexico. Not as much, but so some 6 to like 12 inches in a spot or two. Some in the Oklahoma Panhandle and northern, northeast, northwesternmost Texas. So be aware. Now 48 hours, no big difference, but does show a tiny bit more maybe in some of the northwest and the higher peaks there, and even finger to New Hampshire. So be aware. And the 24-hour max wind gusts does show some slightly higher winds in the plains and high plains and Rockies because of this, especially like in Maine, New Hampshire, close to 50, even 60 mile per hour gusts occasionally the next 24 hours. So be aware. They have some advisors in Canada too because of a system there causing some higher winds. So we'll check that in a moment as well. The temperature still very cold. These are the max temperatures. Show some 30s and 4 is there, especially some 20s in the mountains. More 8 is in the south there, and some 50s and 70s in other areas. The minimum temperatures does show those colder temperatures spreading throughout the northeast. Some 30s in the Great Lakes, some 20s in the north there. 4 is some 20s, and especially some teens in the mountains of northern New Mexico and central New Mexico too. Some is also into West Texas, northern Texas, like the Panhandle. It shows more there across Nevada, Utah, and especially Wyoming and Idaho and those areas. So be aware. This is today until tomorrow. For Saturday during the day, warms up a little bit more there, but nothing crazy, and shows still a little bit cold in the mountains. And still some 4 is in the northeast, some low 4 is, and some A is in the southeast still. So be aware. As Saturday night to Sunday, some 20s and 30s in the northeast, colder there, some 30s all the way into New Jersey. It shows more 20s and teens, especially in the New Mexico mountains, and the wind chills might be very cold still, close to single digits in the higher most places, the wind chills, and more like some 20s and 30s, the mountains of California, Nevada, Montana, parts of the Dakotas too. So be aware. Now Sunday afternoon is warmer. 8 is in the south, and some still in the north. Some 4 is 50s and cold in the mountains still. Now Sunday night to Monday shows more colder temperatures there, especially Colorado, New Mexico, but all the way into northern plains, some 20s, northern New England still, and some mountains of the west there. And now Monday during the days, those 70s in the south and those 80s, and colder temperatures in Washington already, and Idaho and Wyoming there, starting on Monday. Monday night to Tuesday goes down still more near like in Idaho, close to Wyoming, especially in Colorado, New Mexico still, in the Sierra Nevada, California, some teens and 20s. It shows more Nevada and Oregon, those chillier temperatures, mainly the high elevations, but some other areas of coastal Oregon, some forests. It shows more forests in the northeast on like Tuesday morning, some other areas, central US. Now, Tuesday during the day, the cold air mass really comes down and shows going a lot down in the mountains of Wyoming and Idaho, especially in western Montana and Washington there. Tuesday during the day, still some higher 80s in southern Florida, southern Texas, some 70s. But Tuesday night to Wednesday is when it really goes down in the northwest there. So like some 17, 25, especially in Wyoming, to like teens and single digits in the higher mountains there. Central Idaho and Montana, so be aware. Um, Colorado still those areas of 20s and teens, especially in the mountains, and some 30s and 20s in the northeast, all the way to West Virginia, some 30s, and some other areas on Wednesday. So be aware, Thursday, no, Wednesday during the day, shows still the cold temperatures in the mountains of the west, but some May is in the southwest, in the southeast, in the south central. Some 70s, like southern Texas, hotter, and still some 40s in the north, and cold in the mountains there. Now Wednesday night to Thursday morning, like Thursday morning shows still some 20s in New England, some 30s, New York, and shows like those widespread 20s in the Dakotas, 30s, Minnesota, and those parts of the plains, Midwest, mainly the western Midwest, but it shows more 30s, northern Texas, especially those teens and very low temperatures, parts of the Rockies still, and some more scared 20s and 30s, especially 20s, parts of the mountains in Nevada, California, and those areas. Now for Thursday during the day, next Thursday shows more. A is near southern Arizona, southernmost California, and south central Florida there in some areas, but still colder in some other areas. So be aware, we still have that heavy snow in New Mexico, Colorado for day one. The flash flooding, like severe storms, mixed precipitation and stuff. Day two, more flash flooding, some mixed precipitation in the mountains of the west. Day three, more on the west there, and tropical storm Rafael, and still some rainstorms in the east. So, uh, excessive rains, a big slight risk, Oklahoma, Kansas, and especially Texas and western Arkansas. So be aware there, the marginal around it. Day two as a bigger slight, Texas to Kentucky, and a marginal. Day three as a marginal in the northwest and the mid south going northeast. Day four marginal in the from California to Washington, the northwest. Day five still in Oregon and Washington. So be careful with those flash flooding dangers. Snowfall still shows like Friday today, those very high probabilities there. Uh, Most of it already fell a lot, but there will still be some. Saturday, day two barely shows any more probabilities there. Some in Colorado, and day three starts showing northern Washington there. The day four shows more probabilities scattered across Idaho, parts of Montana, especially Washington and Oregon, and California. Day 5 shows more across the Northwest. Day 6, especially Washington and Idaho. And day 7, some more probabilities in the Northwest. So be aware in those areas. Still showing as that they updated now to just major winter storm severity index in Colorado, northern New Mexico. So it got a little bit better there, but still be careful. Some major impacts, and shows some areas are of moderate, even major in a spot or two of northern Washington there next 3 days. So be aware. Uh, the hazards day 3 through 7 does show here like wait, that's a lot. So does show the heavy precipitation in the northwest and heavy snow in the mountains of the northwest and high winds in the Great Lakes and southeastern Alaska. So southwestern Alaska. So be aware in those areas. Day 8 through 14 does show geez. So shows some big areas of heavy snow potential there, especially high winds, slight risk of high winds, risk of heavy precipitation, some central areas, slight risk of heavy snow across the west, and high winds, and high winds in Alaska too, day 8 through 14. So be aware, in Canada we have those advisors near Newfoundland and some areas, special weather statements and wind warnings in parts of Newfoundland. So if you click on the wind warning, strong winds may cause damage are expected or occurring uh, in those areas of C. Jones vicinity, Avalon Peninsula North, Buena Vista Peninsula, and Buena Vista North. So be careful there. Overnight into Saturday until Sunday evening. So be careful the special weather statements in other parts of Newfoundland. Some first accumulated snow of the season expected this weekend near 5 centimeters, possibly 10 centimeters, higher terrain. So be aware there and check this page here in the description from our warnings. In Quebec, a blizzard warning, wind warning, saluit, so be careful there. Uh, Special on Saturday afternoon, and a snowfall warning Mount Albert area, where rapid accumulated snow could make travel difficult, and Yukon a blizzard warning temperature still. So be aware there, those areas, and yeah. So here, let's see like the wind and stuff for most of the areas. So those show those high winds in Quebec today there, so 75, 60 kilometer per gust. Nova Scotia too, and New Brunswick, some other areas. And the European model has some high winds in parts of New York, Vermont, and New Hampshire, and Maine there, especially later today. Shows more along the coast there, like in the ocean, some in eastern Quebec still, but shows some more like in New Hampshire, Maine, especially in the Atlantic there, in the middle of the ocean, but especially Saturday, that big low pressure will start organizing there. Maybe some more rough seas in the coast of the mid-Atlantic parts of New England, Nova Scotia, some areas on Saturday. That low pressure goes there. It dominates much of Nova Scotia on like Saturday, some high winds there, spreading to St. Pierre and Miquelon on southern Newfoundland. This is Saturday, Sunday. This mainly leaves on Sunday, on leaves Nova Scotia, but also some very high winds in Newfoundland there, like Bona Vista North, close to 108 km per gusts, St. John's. So be careful there on Sunday, Newfoundland. Then this finally goes away there. So be aware. And Monday after Sunday showing that system crossing like as Manitoba and Ontario, some higher winds, southern Ontario, in some areas of Lake Superior, on like Monday the 11th, northern Minnesota, and then this goes there Monday, shows more winds across much of the Great Lakes, or like Monday night and afternoon, especially some areas of the UP of Michigan, some 54 mile per gusts, northern Michigan too. So be aware, this is Monday, this goes still, some higher gusts in the lakes there, near New York, and some areas on Tuesday, central Quebec might have close to 67, 70 km per gust on Tuesday, but later on Tuesday, the European model is like some 48 mile per gusts in New Hampshire, Maine, and like near New York, Vermont, and some areas. So this is the 12th. This goes there, might affect like on Wednesday, the 13th, some areas like Nova Scotia, some high winds again, like some 76 km per gust, southern Newfoundland, and then this goes there. Like it might affect Newfoundland, Nova Scotia more, or like the 15th still shows some high winds, St. Pierre, Miquelon, in Newfoundland there. So be aware, still showing on Saturday the 16th some high gusts near New Hampshire, Maine, and southern Quebec. So we'll monitor those systems. Now on the west, it does show that system near the Aleutian Islands on Saturday tomorrow. The big low pressure goes there. It shows uh, some high winds near the coast of British Columbia, southern Alaska on like Sunday the 10th. And that doesn't get that far inland, but does show some high winds in the immediate coast of Washington and Oregon, close to like some 51 mile per gusts by the European, 45 mile per gusts. So be aware. This is Monday. This goes shows this wind spreading to the Sierra Nevada in California, more than 50 mile per gusts, and the GFS has a very different scenario. It has those low pressures there, strong winds over southeastern Alaska, maybe near the coast of British Columbia, but it has like way weaker gusts, close to only 41 mile per gust in Washington and Oregon there, but it does have those systems on the Atlantic too, with some higher gusts. So be aware. But like the GFS barely has, he has the system the Great Lakes, but he has like only 35 mile per gust, and the UP is like 58. So it's a big difference between the models. But yeah, and then late on Tuesday, the 12th, this goes there. That shows some higher gusts across the Rockies, the mountains there, all the way from Montana to New Mexico. This goes like Wyoming, Colorado on the 13th, shows more, especially Montana, Wyoming on the 14th, showing some high winds there on the northwest on the 14th too, And yeah, we might have more stuff later after November 15th to enter southeastern Alaska, showing more there, eventually into British Columbia, and some other areas November 17th and beyond. So be aware, but we will keep monitoring those systems. The snowfall, like the European, still shows that snow possible in Quebec, showing more. A little bit heavier central Quebec, more than 20 centimeters next 5 days. It shows more Newfoundland. The European also to 18 centimeters there, Newfoundland. More some scrapes of snow, northern Nova Scotia. A tiny bit in New Brunswick, but almost nothing. Eastern Quebec more. It has some northern New Hampshire, parts of Vermont and New York, and but very little. It has more central Ontario, more snow, and into Manitoba, northern Manitoba, some snow too. Northern Alberta and a stretch of central Alberta, especially in the mountains between British Columbia and Alberta, especially in British Columbia, more than 40 centimeters next 5 days, spots of 50. Shows, especially in the mountains, southern British Columbia, more than like 120 centimeters of snow. So be aware, those southern mountains of British Columbia, northern Washington, all the way to California, showing more snow, still in Colorado, some, and across the west there. Showing more snow throughout British Columbia, southern Alaska, some in the islands there. Shows some in central Alaska, but not much, some in northern Alaska and southeastern Alaska. Yukon, northwestern territory, some, and the GFS has more throughout southern Alaska and those areas, especially southern British Columbia to Washington has some heavier snow, like some other central southern British Columbia, more throughout central Ontario. The GFS has more, and most of Quebec some snow. Newfoundland and northern New Brunswick and northern Maine has some as well. So who will monitor that? The icon has still some more snow, parts of Colorado there, near Denver, some areas, but it does have some heavier amounts, the southern mountains of British Columbia, not as much as the European, but it does have more to Washington, too, and Idaho, some spots of Oregon the next 5 days. So be aware. And it has a system crossing like through Saskatchewan, Manitoba, central Ontario to more snow. So be aware. Just to give you an idea, it does show that the severe weather in the U.S. now, and some snow around in British Columbia and southern Alaska Saturday. It shows that system there's snow lingering in Quebec, Newfoundland, and the high winds. Still some snow in parts of British Columbia and Alberta on Sunday, and shows that system Sunday to Monday crossing Saskatchewan and Manitoba on Sunday. Some Ontario more snow, and Monday the 11th into Tuesday morning Quebec and Alberta, even a finger or two into northern New Hampshire, Maine, and some areas. And the show starting Tuesday, starting Monday actually, that floating into the northwest shows more snow, especially some rain into like Washington, Northern California, and Oregon. Shows more snow for British Columbia, Northern Washington, all the way into Yukon. There shows more snow for like Manitoba later on Tuesday, some parts of the Rockies there, and not and all there, especially the Europeans. This is on Wednesday the 13th, some bigger rain and snow there across the west. So be aware, it does have those systems sometimes, snow in northern Alaska, southern Alaska there, especially the mountains southern Alaska. But it does have a system near southeastern Alaska on the 13th, especially later after that. So we'll keep monitoring, but be aware in those areas. The temperature is still very cold across parts of Canada, minus 19, minus 23, northern Quebec and Labrador, central Quebec as well, some negative temperatures. A little break in central Canada, close to 80 degrees, but these cold temperatures will come back down again soon. Northern Nunavut, central Nunavut, less than minus 27 degrees, so northern Alaska, some negative Fahrenheit there, and very low. New Brunswick, Nova Scotia shows like -1, -2, Newfoundland, Labrador there. So this is Sunday morning. Shows later in the afternoon, a little bit like 2 degrees in some areas, southern Ontario some 7 degrees, but still very cold in the northwest. And Monday morning shows this cold coming down to Ontario, some there like Saskatchewan, those slight negative temperatures there, and we are getting those like minus 25 in northwestern territories, minus 28, minus 27 there. Very similar to what Russia is experiencing there. So be aware, because a few weeks ago this wasn't like this in Russia was. So we're transitioning the phases with some cold air towards North America. So be aware that this shows Monday into Tuesday. Maybe this cold comes a little bit further down into the Great Lakes and select the temperatures northern Quebec a lot. In the north, there are still some very cold temperatures. And on the west, those negative temperatures as well. So be aware of those areas, and we keep this going. Similar trend. It might be less cold ahead of those low pressures and cold fronts, and more cold air behind those systems. But like next 30 my belt, all the way to minus 29 in Nunavut. So be aware. You can see here shows, yeah, especially November 17th shows this cold coming all the way down to southern Ontario and Quebec into the northeast. So be aware, shows more cold across the west, and yeah, stay safe. Let's just see if there's anything crazy missing. Like, I showed you the snow, but the rainfall accumulation might be important. Shows more rain across Newfoundland there, close to some 82 millimeters. Nova Scotia, some more rain. In Quebec, it's mainly snow, but there's shows some rain that mix there too, especially on the northwest, generally the west. Shows more across like the coast of British Columbia, a lot there, and some other areas. And for the U.S., I prefer to show it here. So let's see, they just added a day to moderate risk for Louisiana as I speak for excessive rainfall. So please be careful with flash flooding there and the slight risk. So please be careful tomorrow in Louisiana. But day 1 through 7, the precipitation, they do have those very high amounts, close to like that yellow's more than 10 inches. They have the total 7-day total close to 10 inches in Washington, most of the Northwest. So be aware of that heavy rain there, more other parts, and they do have close to 4, even 5 inches there in some areas. So be aware into Kentucky, the Tennessee, some rain, that the Northeast this week as well. So be aware. So day 1 through 2, kind of like this. Day 1 through 3, more in the Northwest, some areas. Day 1 through 5, day 1 through 7. So be aware. And I think this is it.